The show Stalking in Circles is dealing with a fanatical fan of my band, The Wicked Tinkers. And we travel around the country playing at various festivals. And along the way, we meet a lot of interesting people. And in this case, we picked up one that was a little bit too interesting.
"41-year-old Margaret Ray arrested 7 times for trespassing on David Letterman's property.
John Hinckley Jr., and he changed the course of U.S. history in 1981 when he shot and wounded the president and 3 other people outside a Washington, D.C. hotel.
So erotomania is a specific type of stalking, and it is a subtype of delusional disorder. It is characterized by the person believing that someone else, usually someone that they've never met or just briefly met, is in love with them.
Some disordered fans believe that there really is a relationship, and the relationship has already existed. It's not surprising that when some of these people are frustrated, when all their hopes are dashed by repeated rejection, or the fact that the person they admire has another relationship, that they first become distressed, then angry, and then move to threat.
Briefly met describes this person entirely.
Yeah.
We've had, up till this point, we only had a few minutes of actual conversation with her. So in the last episode, we talked a little bit how it first actually started for us. And now we're jumping ahead to the next festival that she attended. Just prior to this festival, she had sent an email to the band. When we got to the festival, Aaron described the basic context of the email, which was that she was going to come and give us all rub-downs with Ben Gay in between our sets, which we politely declined. So at this festival, this is up in McMinnville, Oregon. So this fan showed up, and Aaron sort of said, hey, so she's been emailing me. And he described some of the emails, and like I said, many of them were, I hate to use the term erotic, but were erotic in nature. She kept coming up to the booth, and she would talk really fast and very quietly, and then sort of run away. And most of the time we would sort of smile and nod because we didn't know, we thought once again, at this point it hadn't reached a danger level. So apparently she reiterated wanting to do a dance contest. This time said that it would basically be just that she would dance in front of the stage. And we said, you're welcome to dance in the audience. People dance, that's fine. Go ahead and do that. Which, in hindsight, she took as an invitation to be our sort of designated dancer. And it was an interesting sight for us and for the audience. That whole weekend sort of went strangely. At one point, she came up and asked which one of us was going to drive her home, which we said none of us that's not going to happen. Aaron asked, he was just curious, he said, where do you live? And it turned out she lived 4 hours away. And we were like, no, we're not, none of us are going to drive. I mean, regardless of, we aren't going to do that anyway. But apparently she wanted to ride because her husband, who was there with her, wanted to go home, and she did not want to go home. I still don't know exactly what happened because we were at a VIP gathering afterwards, which she mostly hung over the fence, trying to get our attention during most of it. It was kind of hard. It was because we value our fans. We try and be cordial to, when I say we try and be, no matter what happens, we try and be nice to people. And this is one instance where that was definitely taken to a unwanted level.
One of the things that is frightening for the stalking victim is that you realize when you come across these people that they're relating not to you, but to some disordered fantasy of you.
I'm not in the band, but I usually am doing the merchandise. I do a lot of the bookings, and I was there, and she kept coming up and talking to me. She probably had more conversation with me than she had with any of you guys.
Yeah, we literally, she would come up, like I said, mumble incoherently very quickly, and then sort of run away and stop and smile and wave, and we would go, okay,
Yeah, so sometime between when she saw you guys in Kelso and this time in McMinnville, which was about 1 month.
Yeah.
Something went very wrong.
Then we get an email from her. Actually, it was Aaron got an email from her. And he read this, and I'll just read it to you because it is not like anything. Okay, so this was the first email that I actually got a copy of.
Hi, Aaron. I want to tell you something, and I am saying this from my heart. And I do not want you to hurt me. I feel you love me too. You didn't lose me, and I was around not far.
Okay, so I should, the grammar, the punctuation, the spelling is challenging. I'm going to read it as it is written. And if I sound like I'm shouting, it's because it's in all bold caps, which a good portion of this is. And also I want to stop and say, I feel you love me too. This is based on minutes of conversation, not even conversation. I mean, minutes of interaction at best.
I live in Washington, and yes, Oregon is between Washington and California. That is as close to California I got. I know when I saw you in Kelso, I knew and felt I love you. You sure know how to work towards getting me in your life.
We still don't know what she means by that because he had not responded to any of the other emails.
I saw so many things, and you have your own support system to help you. Women are lured into a relationship, and bad things happen. I'm not saying you. It is a big change for me. I was never in any form of relationship where a man beats the shit out of a woman. I saw that picture, and all of you look like huge mountains. I look like a molehill. I cannot believe my so-called husband did not think of this could some a trap for me to be alone with 4 men.
So the picture was, she had us pose for a picture with her. This comes into play. The picture becomes almost a different character in this whole story.
You men could throw me over your shoulder then, bow me on a log and gang me over and over and over until I have so much vaginal bleeding. And you could beat me so bad no one would recognize me, then take me out deep in the woods and bury me deep. All the while I'm still alive begging to not do this. I suffocate because there is no air. There is another thing. I'm not financially secure for 3 years now. I have no medical or dental coverage. We pay out $400 a month for my physical therapy. I want to get finished by October. We can't afford to keep paying out money. It is not to have to see a specialist for my arm. That is out of pocket. Your t-shirts are $35,000. It is worth paying out the money because to purchase one for me is something so dear to my heart. We hardly have any money in the bank. There's so many things I would love to purchase, like a beautiful black sweetheart neckline, full skirt evening gown, and go on a date with someone who cares about me. I work as a caregiver. To make a long story short, I had someone from the state screw me over, and it contributed to my sister-in-law death. I had so much prolonged stress, I ended up the emergency. I'm going after these people and get their lives ruined for what they did to our family. No one screws with people I care for the most. Then I know I had plans to get back to work as a caregiver, but I broke my arm. Since I am getting better, I will get my driver's license and get back to as a caregiver. If you are thinking of kidnapping me and hold me for ransom, forget about that. I want to get away from husband. That is why I said to CJ when I saw him, I wish you guys could kidnap me so I can be with the best ever wicked tinkers. So, Aaron, really take this into consideration, my situation and yours. Empathize with you. When you go to bed at night, there is not anyone you can make love to, and the last thing you see is an empty and wake to the same thing. Do you want me to be there for you and wake up to see me? I could still be asleep and just look at me with love in your eyes for me. We always see each other in the vertical position, never in the horizontal position. I go to bed, but I don't want my husband to me. I wear flannel pajamas to bed. We have a king-size bed. There is a lot of space between us. I would rather have a king-size with a man who would love to chase on the king-size than pin me down and say, there is no escape. You may as well give your ass to God because you ass is mine. I want a man who is dominant, controlling to a point, intimidating, and most of all, loving. Have me in your life for me, not for financial gain, because it is not there. On Saturday, I did have the Bengay with me. So, Aaron, do some real pros and cons. I am a very passionate, loving, fun person, but don't just have me as some object you fuck. No, if that is what you only want, forget it. I enjoy traveling. Ice cream. Oh, we cannot forget the frozen banana dipped in chocolate. That, remember? I have a great idea. You are tied to
Put away
a chair,
from you.
bolted to the floor.
I am a real
I am
cock
1
tease.
foot away from you.
By the
I am
time
a
I
real
am done
cock
eating
tease.
that now
By the time
melted
I am done
and
eating a
warmth,
king that now
F
melted
my
and
tongue
warmth
and
of my
mouth,
tongue and
the
mouth.
banana melts
banana
as I
melts
slowly
as I
eat
slowly
it.
eat. I
The
too.
chocolate is
The
dripping
papaya is dripping
all
over
over
my fingers, chest, and breast.
my...
I spread my legs and sit on you, tightening my legs against yours, and I say, hey, baby, come and GET your tasty dessert as teeny chocolate continues to drip. Drip from my breast. Now, you can't touch me because you can't break free from your restraint. I stand and let you look a teeny, but you can't touch me as I laugh watching you strain to touch me. I am thinking, should I give you a taste or walk away? I turn to look at you and say I am all sticky with all this chocolate all over me. What a waste. And since you are confined, I am needing to take a shower. What a pity. ITR is such a waste of good chocolate. After I take a shower, I turn on the TV. Various major announcements. Mr. Aaron Shaw, the manager, an exceptional piper collapsed from so much pain as he has costochondritis. This is the medical term for inflammation of the cartilage that joins your ribs to your breastbone sternum. This area is known as the costochondral joint. The above was copied off the internet. He needs to rest and take a break from the band Wicked Tinkers and not be able to play the bagpipes until his physician clears him. From much needed bed rest that you want to have me in your life for me as I am. Really think about this. This is a very big change for me. It is scary for me. Please understand that, please. Kris?
So there you go. Not what you expect from someone who you've had a few sentences of conversation with.
This is a fairly extreme one as far as the sexual content goes.
Yeah.
There's not a lot that have that much. Some of them have more of that, but not. I mean, that was pretty extreme.
But we did want to. I mean, that was our introduction.
Yeah.
To this rabbit hole, and it was probably the thing that first made us go, okay, something is not right here.
Yeah.
And that was, I believe, when I think this was the one that prompted you to discuss handling it.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when Aaron read that to us, we were all hanging around in the hotel room. I said that I would manage the situation by emailing her and, talking to her, whatever I needed to do. So. And
so yeah, it as she said, it may not be that explicit, but the tale does definitely get stranger and stranger as the emails go on. Some of them, one thing that I should probably say up front is that if you ever think, wait a minute, I've already heard this email, chances are no, you haven't. Some of the emails have paragraphs that are almost verbatim to previous emails. And I mean, I at first thought that some of them were being like copied and pasted until I realized that there was very minor differences in the wording, but literally some of the sentences in the subject matter were identical to previous emails. So as we're going along, if you think you've heard it, give it a minute, because you may not have actually heard that one yet.
Yeah. That's because I think that's what she just tells herself over and over again.
It could be, yeah, that this story is ongoing in her mind all the time. And one of the things, like I said, that's fascinating is that there has been no interaction, and yet she has built an entire world of not only what she thinks she wants, but what she actually thinks is happening. Simply because, like I said, there's so much that if you just read these, you would assume, I think, that there was a counterpart, that there was a reply to each email. I believe that all told, there were 4 emails sent over 2 years, and they were not conversational.
From Aaron. From Aaron, who is the object of her love.
Yeah.
To Kris, I think 4 emails. I sent a lot of emails to Kris, and I did a lot of going back and forth with Kris, so we'll get to those emails as well. Yeah.
And I think the first 2 were basically just his reply saying, thank you for your interest. We don't do that sort of thing. We don't have dance contests. But you're welcome to come to the show, and we hope you enjoy it. That sort of. I mean, it was pretty
Yeah, and I think that was it for a year,
Right.
or longer.
Yeah.
So
So as we're reading these, bear in mind there were no replies. Well, in the beginning. Later there was some automated replies, but.
So next time we will start talking about my email to Kris and how her response to me and how that started, and hopefully we'll just keep going from there.
Yep.